So I'm going to be going through some examples from the worksheet, and so I'm going to do the third column on this so that we can just give some other examples to look at and you can check what you did there, and hopefully this helps. So on this one it says the cube root, so remember when we have a fraction that tells us to split it up into two parts. So I'm going to go the cube root of x to the 7 over the cube root of 27x to the third. Once we have it split up, we just want to simplify both the numerator and denominator. So remember, when it's a variable, the power you divide, but 7 is not divisible by 3. So I'm going to break that up into x to the 6 times x. Now 6 is divisible by 3, so that gives me x squared. So that's gone. Since I can't take the cube root of x, that stays inside. On the bottom, we can take the cube root of 27. That's 3. And again, we divide the powers, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that's x to the first. Now to have this completely reduced, you can see we have an x squared up here and an x on the bottom, so I can cancel those 1 for 1. And so we end up with x cube root of 3, or cube root of x, over 3. And that would be the final answer. Number 6, remember a power outside. Since these are multiplied, this power affects both the 16 and the x. Now remember, you can't do that if it's addition or subtraction, but you can if it's multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite this as 16 to the 3 halves and x to the 3 halves, or x cubed to the 3 halves. This, remember, would be the square root of 16 to the third. And the square root of 16 is 4, and 4 to the third is 64. So we took care of that. This would become the square root, and this would be x to the 9th, because 3 times 3 is 9. We break that into x to the 8th times x, because we have to have something divisible by 2. And the square root of, or 8 divided by 2 would be x to the 4th. And then we can't take the square root of x, so that stays inside. Again, you don't need to put these 2's here. When it's a square root, we can just leave that off, because if we don't put a number there, it means square root. On this one, we're supposed to write each expression by using rational exponents. So remember, rational exponents, the index is the denominator, and the power numerator or exponent here is the numerator. But you have to remember this fourth root affects the 30 and the x to the third. So I could do this and go 30 x to the third to the 1/4 power and then distribute the 1/4. So that would be 30 to the 1/4 and then x to the 3/4. Or you could have it this way, but you should simplify that. You could have also just done the 4th root of 30 and done 30 to the 1/4 and then x to the 3/4 from there. On this one, we're supposed to simplify. So remember, a power to a power we multiply. So we have to take the 3/4 and multiply it to the 8. So 8 times 3/4. 4 goes into 8 twice, and 2 times 3 is 6. So we get x to the 6th. In the denominator, we get y to the 4th, and we times that by 3/4, and here the 4's cancel, and we get 3. So y to the 3rd, and so this would be x to the 6th over y to the 3rd. On this one, remember, a negative power, you do the reciprocal, so this becomes 1 over a to the 4th, b to the 8th, to the positive 1/4 power. This power outside affects the numerator and the denominator, but 1 to the 1/4 is still going to be 1. And then it affects the a. Well, we multiply 4 times 1/4, that would be a to the first, or a. You can put the 1 if you want. 8 times 1/4, 4 goes into 8 twice, so that becomes b squared, and so it would be 1 over ab squared. Again, a negative power, since it's a fraction, remember we can just do the reciprocal of that. So that would become n to the 12th over m to the 8th to the positive 1/4 power. Again, you multiply the powers. So 12 times 1/4, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So we get n to the third, and 4 goes into 8 twice, and so we get m to the second. Make that a little clearer. N to the third, m squared would be our answer there. So hopefully those give you some hints for the other problems, and you'll be able to complete those. Good luck.